Good morning, everyone. Today is Wednesday, so let's get into our New York City shelter talk. Remember, tonight 7:30 is my Q&A. Please come prepared. Please come and understand that this is a learning experience if you are in the New York City shelter. Okay, let's get to what we have to talk about. So today we're going to talk about what voucher reform bills are we looking at for 2026. Okay, so the New York City Council is considering new laws to reform the shelter system, focusing on faster voucher processing, fairer shelter distributions across neighborhoods, and stronger tenant protections, right? That's what we're always looking for, and expanding funding and homeless youth prevention programs. Okay, so let's get into the key shelter related laws proposals for 2026. So we're going to start off with a 15-day response requirement. Yes, bitch, you heard me. 15-day response requirement. Proposed legislation would require DSS and HRA to respond to a housing voucher application within 15 days, cutting down delays that currently keep families in shelters for months. Now, I can say this, my panel can say this, my followers can say this, right? This is a huge problem with DSS and HRA. So if they can come together and have a 15-day response requirement, I feel that it would hold everybody accountable. So let's cross our fingers for that. The next thing that they're looking to do, well, hello 2026, is to make all of the forms digital. So another bill would mandate digital voucher applications, replacing paper and only processing to speed up approvals and reduce errors, right? Hello, digital. I can't believe we didn't even get that in 2020. Let's get into the Fair Share for Homeless Act. So this is a pending bill, would require more distribution of shelters across New York City neighborhoods, preventing certain communities from being a burden. So I see it like this. I see it that Staten Island doesn't have enough shelters compared to the other boroughs. Staten Island, sit down, okay? You, my friend, should have more shelters. Okay, let's keep going. Tenant protection and rental assistance. Okay, where was I? Okay, so for FY 2026, budget proposals include new funding for tenant protections and rental assistance for new parents, aiming to prevent shelter entry in the first place. I love that. Runaway and homeless youth beds, expanding funding for youth shelter beds, including in the FY 2026 budget, addressing rising youth homelessness. We do see that a lot of our children coming out of foster care are experiencing homelessness, and just in general, right? Kids, they think the grass is greener on the other side. They're like, fuck you, I'm leaving. And then what happens? They stay at their friend's house for 2 weeks. And if you're a young kid watching this, listen, my friend, the grass is not greener on the other side. Get out, get a job, and help your parents. Okay, home-based expansion program. What? Council hearings highlighted reforms to home-based eviction prevention program, which helps families avoid entering the shelter system. Okay, that's nice. So DHS budget investments. The Department of Homeless Services FY 2026 budget includes, which we know, $323 million in new investments with allocation for $1.35 billion for family shelters, $1.34 billion for adults, and $384 million for outreach. Okay, outreach. Utilize outreach. Call 311. So basically, the proposal bill and the focus area would be expected. So that 15-day voucher response bill is for that voucher processing, faster housing placement. Digital voucher application is going to reduce delays and errors. Fair Share Shelter Act, meaning more placement. Tenant protection funding, prevention, reduces eviction and shelter risk. Rental assistance for parents, again, supports families at risk. Youth shelter bed expansion, more safe housing for teens. Home-based program reform, stronger eviction prevention, which I think that we are all needing right now. That's crazy, right? You go to home-based, but they won't even look at you unless you have an eviction letter. Like, what? That's wild. So, again, there's risk and consideration. Implementation changes, even with new laws, delays could persist without staffing increases. Neighborhood pushback, we know the neighborhoods. The FAIR Act may face resistance from community opposed to new shelters. Staten Island, please stand up. Okay, funding stability. Expanded programs depend on sustained budget commitments in FY 2026. So in summary, the New York City Council's 2026 agenda for shelter system centers on speeding of vouchers, distributing shelters more fairly, expanding youth beds, and strengthening prevention programs. If passed and funded, these reforms could significantly reduce shelter overcrowding and providing housing access. Remember, get out there, vote, speak to your councilmen, councilwomen, council people in general. Make some noise, okay? These are all very good things that are going to happen, and I feel like in 2026, now they're talking about digitizing the application. Like, that should have been done during COVID. I've said that during COVID. Why they haven't done that, I don't know. Maybe because, there was some noise behind it. Who knows? Only they do. However, they're thinking about doing it now. Whatever. So share this, save this. Let me know what you think.